So recently there has been some massive discussion going on about the NBA as Noah Lyles, which is an American professional track and field star, said he loves the USA, but when NBA players win a championship, they really shouldn't be called world champions.
World champion of what? The United States?
And this discussion gained so much attention from many different NBA stars. I really did not expect just so much NBA stars like KD to come out and just call him out because of this. And yeah, it gained a lot of attention. Even Stephen A. Smith called him ignorant because of this. Now, the main question is, should NBA champions be called NBA world champions? Well, first, let's really look at both sides of this argument. So one side believes that the world champion's name is given to NBA players because of the NBA's diversity and the NBA being clearly the most talented in the entire world. And then you got the other side that believes that NBA players don't go up against any other country in the world and they really don't play for any type of flag. Now, looking at the first argument, I think it's pretty obvious that this first argument is the most true. With players like Giannis, Luka, Jokic, and Joel Embiid, and many others on the rise, now being the face of the NBA, and all being born in a different country, the name world champs should definitely be given. The talent from those different countries globally is only continuing to get better. Players like, Victor Wembanyama coming into the league. And I think eventually, maybe even right now, the best players in the NBA by far are from another country and not born in the USA. But for the second argument, another obvious thing is that the NBA never actively goes up against another country. So for that part, Noah Lyles is actually right. The NBA doesn't just go out there and say we are rooting for US and goes up against different countries in the world. That just doesn't happen. They're a national team that goes up against different states. And I think it's also important to note that the NBA directly drafts players from different countries. And for the future of the NBA, I think they really will kind of expand on the global league thing. Just looking at this state of the NBA right now, I don't think it's going to be something that it's more of a national basketball league with just players that are from the country. You're seeing it with what's happening in the NBA right now. Also, I think it's pretty important to note how good Giannis, Luka, Jokic, and Embiid are. And those are all players that are not born in this country. You got Giannis, who is a 6'11 forward who can completely bulldoze through any single player. This is a historic player. Pretty much every single one of these are historic players. This is a guy who is probably one of the strongest players the NBA has ever seen. He won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks, and he's also the leading scorer of all time for the Bucks. And then you got Luka Doncic, who is pretty much the closest thing we've ever seen to James Harden, and really has a chance to be the best player in the world next season for the Dallas Mavericks. He averaged 30 points per game last season and put up historic numbers: 60 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists, triple-double. That's the first ever 60-point, 21 rebound, 10 assist game the NBA has ever seen. And then, of course, you got Nikola Jokic on the Denver Nuggets. I don't even have to say much about this guy. All I have to say is might end up as one of the best centers the game has ever seen. He is right now one of the most efficient players of all time, close to Jordan. Like I said, best playmaking, best passers, and a historic player all around. And lastly, we got Joel Embiid, who is by far one of the most skilled scoring centers of all time. The man is 7 foot and is able to shoot like a guard, pull up like Kevin Durant, and all of these players really just have some skill set that is just out of this world. And speaking of the world, I think that pretty much right there should say that all of these players are not from the US, they are global players, and yeah, you just got to give them this name. The future of the NBA definitely seems like it's global players now, and the face and the name World Championship, it just definitely belongs to them. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up things with this video. I think that Noah Lyles, what he was saying might have been taken out of context. I think what he just really meant overall is that you really just don't see the NBA wearing a flag going up against different countries. I think that's what he really meant. I don't really think he just meant that, the NBA has the best talent in the league or not. that could be something that he agrees with. I have no idea, but just based on what he was seeming like he was talking about, maybe that's where he was going with things. But if he wasn't, then he's just flat out wrong, because the NBA just gathers some of the best talent in the world. And yeah, that's just true. There's not really that much good leagues in the world right now. You got maybe FIBA, which is the second best, but that just really isn't something where you have like players like LeBron signing a contract going over there. It's just not happening. The NBA is by far just number one best global league in the world. World championships, world champions, that should be given to them. But yeah, with that being said, do not forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, comment down below for a cookie. I'm gonna email that to you. Just comment down below, and I'm just gonna do it. Chocolate chip cookies, red velvet. I don't really care. Yeah, it's boy Justin Arch, and I'm out.